Klay Thompson's going to the hole in a tight game. A little elbow shiver to Zach Collins, who might have acted a little bit on it there.
That's a good call.
Then, this turns into hold me back. A hold me back moment between Thompson and Collins. Now, Thompson is usually pretty zen-like out there on the floor. Were you surprised by this?
I was not surprised
Why's
because they were without Boogie. Mm-hmm. They were without
no
Iggy Dollar. It's the final
no
game
Livingston.
Before the All-Star break. Portland was playing well.
They were.
Dame is from Oakland. He seems to always play well against his hometown
The Blazers
team.
play well against the Warriors.
And they were outscored by 23 points in the fourth quarter alone.
Mm-hmm.
The most since Steve Kerr has been their head coach. So there were frustrations happening on the Golden State Warriors side, but you got to give Portland credit by the way they played.
How frustrating is it when your defender flops and gets the call?
I hated this so much in college. So as a tall point guard, I would play against certain teams, and that would be the strategy. I'm not throwing shade at those players. I'm not throwing hate at those programs.
What are you talking about? Indiana? What are you talking about? Duke?
Indiana.
Okay, you name the names.
Duke. Those three schools come to mind that it seemed like soon as I got the ball,
they
92
took the flopportunity.
minutes,
They took
92
the flopportunity.
feet away from the hoop, the dude just fell down. And back in the day, they would call it. Like, they would call it, like, quick. I think it was like the officials got used to being excited about that call.
Because over time, people, the league evolves and the game evolves. And I think, refs got more hip to the flopportunity.
Correct.
Well, the frustration that you mentioned in the fourth quarter continued. And, Zach, same guy, was on his way to the hoop. When Draymond came over, it was a foul. Like, I don't see any real hand-to-head contact. Didn't feel like a flagrant for David Jacoby. Like, to me, that's not flagrant. Steve Kerr agrees with me. He's fired up. He's throwing a clipboard. Bang! Clipboard going down. And, oh, look, he got ejected. And then Draymond discussed it after the game.
You got a lot of ball. I don't know. This is Draymond rules. I've been officiated a certain way for years. It's nothing new to me. That's what it is. I don't care.
Huh. Do you think Draymond Green is officiated differently?
I think all players are officiated different, especially those that have a history getting flagrant fouls, technical fouls, and suspensions.
And being emotional towards referees.
It heightens their relationship and their ability to not only make calls on you, but never give you the benefit of the doubt. As a player, you earn that equity. You know what you're getting yourself into. The referees are human beings. So how would you respond if somebody constantly was cursing at you in your face?
Of course, you have to, your job is to be objective and to be blind justice and to treat everybody the same. But if someone curses and swears at me at my job over and over again, I can't forget that. I can't just drag that to the trash in my brain.
On television, on social media, your family, your friends, your significant other knows you about to play the Warriors tonight? Oh, we got... What footage we gonna have of Draymond yelling at you tonight?
Here's a question for you. Did you have relationships with individual referees that you knew were bad? Did you ever like walk out in the court and be like, oh, Steve's here tonight?
I did. And out of respect, I'm not gonna name my personal officials.
Come on, Jalen.
And my beefs with them.
Oh, come on.
Because they're still reffing a couple of them.
Name the names. Steve Javy?
Not gonna be able to do it. Steve Javy did not take anything from anyone. He was consistent. If you raised your eyebrows, he would give you a take. So for Draymond, that to me was a judgment call.
That's not a flagrant. Game. I saw you on Get Up call that a flagrant. That is not a flagrant foul.
So here's what I said. It can be misconstrued as a non-basketball play.
What?
Going after the ball. When you look at it again, and you play a lot of rec ball. So I'm gonna give you this distinction. You're driving to the basket. People only look at that play. But what happens is a series of plays, okay? So it's Collins driving and getting blocked and knocked to the ground, but they don't call it. It's Collins running to the other end of the floor, blocking Lee. It's Klay Thompson driving and Collins flops.
Yep.
So now when he goes to the basket, everybody's watching.
If it was a different player, they wouldn't have called it.
Correct.
If it was a different player, based on everything that happened in that game is why they called it, because they felt it was intentional. And also, one thing Draymond did is the ball is in Collins' right hand, and he tried to reach across his body with his right hand. That's not going for the ball. You're never going to block somebody by reaching across their body like that.
Well, look at the play. He leads with his body.
Yeah.
He leads with his hip. He leads with his body. He leads with his shoulder.
It's a foul.
That's a foul. Then when you swat down, you give them now a judgment. And based on who it is, if it was Steph Curry, it wouldn't have been a flagrant.
You know what I love about Steve Kerr getting ejected? He meant to.
Early start.
He meant
All-Star
to.
Weekend.
He was just like, I'm gonna get out of here. All-Star Weekend, we got a break. Maybe
like,
I can fire these guys up. You never know. Here's some news about the Trailblazers that I want to share that makes me excited. You know I'm a Die Easy Knick fan. You know I take Quincy to the games. One of my favorite New York Knickerbockers is no longer a New York Knickerbocker. He is now on the Trailblazers. And of course I'm talking about Enes Kanter, one of my favorite players in the league. Not a defensive stalwart, maybe not the greatest defender. Maybe doesn't play defense at all.
Well,
but he's got great hands. He's got great hands. He can score in the post. He gets a lot of offensive rebounds. What does Enes Kanter bring to the Blazers?
Consistent help scoring.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch their team play, it's constantly, we know we can rely on Dame.
Yep.
We should be able to rely on CJ, and which Nurkic is going to show up.
Nurkic sometimes has 34 points and sometimes has 6 points.
And so now, what I know about Kanter, you can book this. If you give him 24 minutes, double-double.
It's true. It's a fact.
Double-double.